Hello my beauts, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Mary and I'm a natural hair, lifestyle and beauty content creator from London. In today's video, I'm going to be teaching you how I achieved this blowout look without using heat. No hair dryers were used in the process of this video, no straighteners were used in the process of this video. What other tools do they use to straighten hair these days? I don't know, but I did give a hint in my flexi rod video, so some of you guys may already know what went down in order for me to achieve this style. I want to shout out my mom because she's the one that actually did the process for me. Now, if you are new to this channel, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button, you like and you share this video if you found it useful, and press that notification bell so you don't miss when I drop another video. But without any further ado, let's get into the video. So I want to shout out my mom because she helped me with this style. But basically what it is I'm going to be showing you today is how to straighten using the threading method. Now, the threading method is something that my mom used to do for my sister and I a lot when we were younger. It is a form of protective styling whilst also enabling your hair to stretch.
To start, my mum sections off my hair and she's beginning at the front. So what she does is she's making sure she has a good grip on my roots and she is going in with some thread. And what she's going to do is tightly wrap that thread around the roots to begin with. Obviously, it's not too tight because you don't want to put too much tension or stress on your hair. But as you can see, she's using her thumb and her forefinger of her left hand to hold that section in place. And then with her right hand, she's wrapping the thread around the root of my hair. As she goes along, she's making sure that I haven't developed any knots or kinks. So she's just taking a comb to go through my ends. You want your hair to be as smooth as possible so that the hairstyle looks nice. You'll see as she continues to go along that she is ensuring my hair is taut, and she also kind of like wraps my hair around itself just to make sure that it's as seamless as possible. I would definitely recommend that if you want to do this style, maybe you should start with your hair being twisted and then just wrapping the thread around your twist. This just relieves the tension on your scalp and on the roots of your hair. It's definitely something I think will benefit you, especially if you're doing this hairstyle by yourself. As she goes down the shaft of my hair, the wrapping becomes a bit more sparse. So there's a bit of gap in between the length of my hair going down, and then what happens is when she gets to the tip or the ends of my hair, she wraps tightly again just to make sure that thread stays in place, and then she puts a knot at the end also. As my mum finishes off that section, I'm getting the thread ready for the next section. Whilst your hair is in its natural kinky curly state, you want to bear in mind that this is not the true reflection of the length of your hair once it's pulled taut or once it's stretched. So when you're getting your thread ready, you want to at least double the length of your natural hair. The thread I used this time round was cotton thread, which was what I had available. I would suggest not using cotton. There's an alternative thread which is rubber, and the reason why is because cotton strips your hair of its moisture, and whilst this is a protective style, you do want to ensure that you are still protecting your hair underneath. Anything that is stripping your hair of moisture isn't necessarily protecting your hair underneath, because your hair is becoming dry, especially the ends, and when your hair is dry and brittle, it's easier for it to break off. So definitely buy rubber thread to use for this style. You can find this in any hair shop, and make sure that your hair is well moisturized before creating this style. As I'm using cotton thread, what I did was I first drew out one single piece that was the length that I needed. I then doubled that piece, I tripled the piece, and then I quadrupled the piece. This was just to make sure that it was easier for my mom to grip. If you can imagine, cotton thread is very thin, and had it been that she just used it as a singular piece, she wouldn't be able to grip the thread properly, and I feel like it would have literally just disintegrated in my hair anyway.
This is still part of your hair I'm doing. You can see. I want to use this thread to tie it. That's why I cut it into.
How am I gonna cut the knot when it's next to my hair?
So easy. As soon as you pull it will go. It will come off.
As soon as I pulled the as soon as I pulled the knot.
Yeah. Everything will pull.
As soon as I pulled the knot.
Yeah, because I'm going to tie everything together now. So when you are taking it off, as soon as you pull the knot, everything will come off.
I don't think so.
Don't worry. You won't cut your hair.
Peep the stretch.
My thumb to press it down while I'm going around.
It really looks like she's pulling my brains out at this stage, but I really wasn't feeling it at all. It's not until after the hairstyle was done that I was like, oh, actually, my scalp is stretching. My scalp is feeling kind of sensitive. And I think it's because the different sections were pulled in different ways. So like I said earlier, if you want to recreate the style, twist your hair first. That will just allow for less tension on your roots and your scalp. I hope from this close-up you can really see what my mum did in order to ensure my hair was stretched whilst also wrapping the thread around it. And you can also see the pattern a bit more clearly. You can see how it's not wrapped very tightly around my hair, but rather there's some gap in between. This allowed for the threads to actually be stretched in itself. Had it been that my mum had tightly wrapped the thread around my hair, I would have needed quadruple the length I had initially cut. You also saw how she was wrapping my hair around itself just to make sure that it stayed in place whilst the thread was going around my strands. As I mentioned earlier, the thread was layered 4 times to give it thickness. But what happens is once my mum gets to the end, she cuts a single strand just so that she can use a single piece to wrap around the rest of my hair. And this is where you can see if you had used the thread to tightly wrap around the full length of your hair, it would look more like this, in that the thread is very, very close together. There's no space in between. This is another way that people tend to thread their hair without the gap going down the length of my hair. As you can see, it will just look like the end of my hair all the way down the length of their hair, if that makes sense. I'll see if I can find a picture to put in so you know what I mean. So once she finishes wrapping, she then makes a knot like so, and what she does is she just takes a single strand again and she creates a loop, and then she just pulls it through that loop, and that's what you do to create the knot. Depending on how you like your hair, you can either wear this out as it is, basically with single threaded pieces coming down your face, or you can do what I'm doing, and that is packing it at the back with more thread and kind of creating a style. I knew I was going to wear my hair for 2 weeks in this state, so I didn't necessarily want hair in my face. So I told my mum to pack it to the back for me, and what essentially she's doing is taking 2 to 3 sections of hair and using thread to create, I don't know, like a packing style at the back. I can't really explain it, but you will see what she does. Using the same principle as earlier, she takes my hair and using the thread, she wraps it tightly around this time without any gaps. She takes 2 or 3 sections of hair and she tightly wraps the thread around that. I'm trying to give instructions for those who may not be able to catch it whilst watching the video, but yeah, I'm failing. Now that she's finished wrapping all the sections together, my mum cuts off the excess thread that she doesn't need, and with the remaining of the thread she just wraps it around one section of my hair, and she wraps it around about 3 or 4 times, and then she creates a knot using the same method as before, just looping it around my hair strand and then bringing it through. And that's it, we're all done. I hope you kind of saw what she was doing. She basically wrapped the thread around itself on different parts of my hair, and then she created a knot to make sure it stayed in place and achieved this beautiful style at the back. This also aids in stretching my hair even further because some of the sections from the front made it all the way to the back, etc, etc. I hope you get the drift. It's been 2 weeks now and I'm unraveling the thread. All I have to do is pull it and it actually starts coming out. I did cut the knot at the bottom, but I didn't cut my hair in the process, so that's fine. In the space of those 2 weeks, I did use a leave-in conditioner and cream at the roots of my hair just to try and get some moisture in. I did bring it down the shaft, but obviously my ends were tucked in so well that I couldn't get to the ends. I apologize for the lighting in this section. I had done 3 videos on this particular day, and I don't know, I just wasn't really aware of how dark it was getting very quickly. But once the thread is out, I just use my hands to separate each section, and I felt like, you know, the hair was fine. It wasn't as dry as I thought it was going to be, and I think it's because I did moisturize very well before putting the thread in and also re-moisturizing during the week. I then take my wooden wide tooth comb, and this is from Healthy Hair Studio by Anita, and I'm just making sure that I go through any little kinks or knots that I might have. My hair wasn't very knotted, but there was a bit of resistance because my ends were not as moisturized as they would be on a normal day. I didn't have any expectations of what my hair would look like once the thread was out, but I was pleasantly surprised by how stretched my hair was. It kind of gave me even more of a stretch than I would have got if I had used a blow dryer. I take the avocado and mango hair butter from Healthy Hair Studio by Anytime, and rubbing that in the palms of my hands, I just worked that through my hair, paying particular focus on my ends where it was a bit drier. If you find that you need to add some moisture back in once the thread is out, make sure you don't use a water-based product, as you will revert your hair back to its original state. I take my wide tooth comb again and just make sure I'm dispersing that butter throughout my hair. And this is the finished look. I really liked it. I felt like because my house is quite warm that my hair was getting puffy quicker than it would on a normal day, but this stretch style did last a good week and a half because I didn't do anything to it. I didn't allow water to get on it, and you can see what it kind of looked like towards the end of that week and a half in my last video, which is my wash day routine.
It's very common back in Africa to use thread to create these elaborate hairstyles, and I feel like we should just bring it back round. As long as you do it to the kind of look you want, you could rock it for a week and a half or a week, and you also can enjoy the benefits of having your hair stretched for another week after wearing it. Now, you do want to make sure, like with any protective style, that you're protecting your hair underneath. So you want to make sure that you've really moisturized your hair before you put the thread into your hair, and you want to also make sure that you use the thread that is not cotton. Pattern your hair in sections depending on how you want the final result to look. So if you want a middle part, make sure you create a middle part and then you do the threading down based on that. If you want a side part, make sure you create a side part, etc, etc. So once you pattern your hair in sections, make sure that section is very detangled, because you do not want to thread up your hair when there's a lot of knots in it. When you're taking it down, those knots will still be there and you're going to have to end up cutting those knots out, and that is not the purpose of putting your hair in threads or getting a protective style. So yeah, that is it for this video, guys. This is the finished look. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that what my mum showed you was easy to grab along with my instructions. If you want me to show you how I would have done it, then let me know. I would have done it the exact same way as my mum, but obviously my patterns would not have been straight and I probably would do a middle part next time round. I don't know if I would have been able to put my hair back the way my mum did it, because that was a style in itself. But I'll be happy to show you if you think that me showing you is easier or is more realistic in that you can do it yourself as opposed to someone helping you. I hope you liked this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, have any comments, leave them in the comments below. Please make sure to subscribe and share and like, and I will see you in my next video. Make sure you take care of yourself. I love you guys. Mwah. Bye.